Reckless driving is a major concern for Milwaukee drivers, but the city and the police department are working hard to make Milwaukee's streets safer. We talked to Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman about what's being done, and he gave us this update. Chief, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me here.
What kind of progress do you think we're making to curb reckless driving?
Well, I believe we're going in the right direction. I know a number of our reportables out in regards to cost reckless driving are down, crashes are down, and I believe that is because of the collaborative effort that the Milwaukee Police Department, along with our city officials, the mayor has made a commitment in regards to having that particular focus on reckless driving. Working with a number of our community groups, Vision Zero, as we talk about the desire to have zero fatalities. And so there's a lot of different efforts on different angles coming at this particular singular problem that I believe, as you see across the city, the roundabouts, the bump outs, the narrowing of streets. There is, again, the public announcements of slow down, but also, obviously, our enforcement, being out there, using proactivity of officers engaging in enforcement work, not only for the Milwaukee Police Department, but also with our partners, state police, or state troopers, also the Milwaukee County Sheriff Department. So a lot of great moving parts together, and just keep on, I guess, chipping away in regards to these behaviors.
Let's talk a little bit about some of those calming measures, because we certainly see them. Mm-hmm. We see the bump outs that are in the right lane, mm-hmm. or we see the bike lanes that have been reestablished, mm-hmm. with the little permanent cones in there so people can't jump over into mm-hmm. that lane. Yeah. Do you think that that's making a difference? Are you seeing what kind of results that would lead you to believe that those are some of the things that are going to get us to the place we need to be?
So the bump outs, the bike lanes, the roundabouts, all is part of the one of the 3 E's. You have the enforcement, you have education, but you also have engineering. And that's where the Department of Public Works, again, the mayor put effort in regards to making funding, ARPA funding, using city funds to narrow streets, traffic calming measures. Anecdotally, I can say that yes, there's a effect, because I have people come up to me saying, "Chief, why do we got these things around the city? I can't drive the way I want to." I said, "Good." So that is truly having that type of specific effect of, yes, we want you to slow down, leave for work a little earlier, ensure that you have ample enough time to get to the movies or get to wherever you're going. But we are part of the overall community of health and safety, and driving appropriately and making sure that you're following the rules of the road is important. Beyond being the chief of the Milwaukee Police Department, I'm also a resident of this city, and my young son is also a driver out in this city. I want to be able to feel comfortable and safety for my loved ones just as like anyone else. So anecdotally, I can say there's a lot of great responses from the public, but we do see that there is transposing to lower fatalities, lower crashes. I believe that there is that combination effect of helping us narrow these streets, helping the messaging going on out there, but also, again, like I said, the enforcement aspect of you drive too fast, you might likely get a ticket.
Another enforcement measure you have when it comes to reckless drivers is, under certain circumstances, confiscating the cars they're driving.
Absolutely.
How has that helped in that effort? Is the word getting out to people that if you drive recklessly, you're not just going to get a ticket, you could lose your car?
Since May of 2022, 449 vehicles have been towed. So this is the stark reality of you are putting that vehicle you use to go to work, you go shopping on the line if you want to engage in these behaviors. Very appreciative of the Fine Police Commission for allowing us to have this ability. It's great to see the support from our community saying keep it up, because you're right, it is a challenge in our city, and that we need to ensure that we are showing our residents, our community, that we really take this seriously and we lean into this.
I want to talk a little bit about car crashes. Car crashes are down, and hit and run accidents are down, but we're still seeing those fatalities related to car accidents up. 77 in 22, 74 in 2023. How can we get those fatalities to come down?
So we talked about what from a government standpoint, we're working on, whether it's the education, whether it's the enforcement, whether it's the engineering, but it takes us. Many of these situations, there's someone inside that vehicle who is, I don't know, doing their part or not doing their part. Slow down. You know, did you put your seatbelt on? That particular type of effort that we all need to have a responsibility of, you know, I'm not going to get into a vehicle where someone's intoxicated. We had those situations. Car full of people driving in our city, not only under the influence, but with young ones. We also had young ones in vehicles without the proper seating. You also have proper restraints. Again, those contribute to those fatalities. We have individuals who are walking across, you know, busy roadways, are not paying attention. You know, where unfortunately, you know, someone who is legitimately legally operating a vehicle, and you have someone pop out right in front. You know, the whole purpose of narrowing the streets is to connect, you know, both sides of the roadway so that there's less distance for a pedestrian to have to cross, but also narrow the roadways. So there's a lot of efforts, but in the end, we all got to do our part. That we have to be more aware and more engaged. So I would say that yes, we have trends moving in the right direction, but we really, it's not just a saying, that's like a catchphrase, we all have a role. We do all have a role. And that's where we're really going to see true, sustainable, long-lasting effects when we are taking that responsibility as our own. Not just the police department's responsibility, not just the mayors, not just the auditors, not just the sheriffs, all of us.
And are we getting closer to that? Do you feel that we are? Are people getting the message that we all have a role to play in making our streets safer, whether we're pedestrians or drivers or passengers?
I'm seeing more and more people joining that particular messaging, whether it's our community stakeholders, whether it's our faith base, whether it's our residents. I see that there is more conversations and more individuals being a part of solutions rather than problems. Whether it's, you know, Greater Milwaukee, Boys and Girls Club for the Greater Milwaukee. I mean, there are so many organizations leaning into this. So do we ever have enough? I will never say we have enough, but I will say that we have more than what we used to.
Chief, we really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You are a busy man. Thank you so much for being here with us and for reminding us all that we all play a role in making Milwaukee safer. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be right back.